Guten Morgen, good morning, good morgen. Ich bin Birgit Stauber. I'm Birgit Stauber working for Pro Quote Film im Kern-Team. And I'm feeling very grateful and honored to welcome our next guest. Before doing so, I wanted to share a story. After a storm, an old man walked the beach at dawn and noticed a girl ahead of him picking up starfish and flinging them into the sea. He watched the girl, let's call her Anna, for a while, and finally catching up with her, he asked why she was doing this. Anna answered that the starfish would die if left until the morning sun. But the beach goes on for miles, and there are millions of starfish, said the old man. How can your effort make any difference? The girl looked at the starfish in her hand, threw it safely into the waves, and said, "It matters to that one." Now, Anna Zerne was not only throwing one starfish, a female director, writer, or producer, back into the creative ocean throughout her work as CEO of the Swedish Film Institute, but with walking the talk of a visionary leader. In only 6 years, Anna Zerne has made Sweden the first ever country to achieve 50-50 gender parity in terms of government financing for films. 50-50 by 2020. 50% of Swedish films should be made by women, written, produced, and/or directed by, latest in 2020. The Swedish Film Institute has already reached this goal in 2016. And as a role model for gender equity, Anna Zerne and the Swedish Film Institute inspired change for women's prospects all over the world, one country at a time. Canada, Iceland, Austria, the UK, Norway, and Australia have already started working on their own targets. And just a week ago, for everybody who doesn't know that, France published 6 measures towards equality. And based on a new point system, the government is paying in France 15% more money if films are gender equal. Now, in the last 6 months, something interesting happened also within the international festival circuit. And for everybody who hasn't heard about the 50-50 by 2020 pledge, here is a quick overview. In France, Le Deuxième Regard was wondering about how to turn a moment, and Me Too, into a movement. 82 women, prominent women in film, walked up the stairs of the Palais du Festival to represent the 82 women who have been chosen to compete in the festival's 71 years history. There were 1,645 men that were chosen in the same amount of time. Now, the Gender Parity Pledge was signed by Thierry Frémaux, the head of the Cannes Film Festival, along with his colleagues at the Directors' Fortnight and Critics' Weeks. Now, what is the 50-50 by 2020 pledge, and what did they agree upon? It's not about 50-50 directors, though we would really wish something like that happen in the future. So the pledge means to compile statistics according to gender, including the number of films submitted, to identify the members of selection committees and programmers, and to make a commitment schedule to achieve parity on their board. After Cannes, in June, the second festival, Patrick Evenot signed the pledge at Annecy Animation Festival. Here, from 740 films that have received awards since 1960, only 20% were films directed or co-directed by women. To change that, the Annecy Animation Festival organized the first Women in Animation World Summit this year. End of July, the pledge is signed in Locarno by President Marco Solari and Vice President Carla Speziali. This was organized by SWAN, Swiss Women and Audiovisual Network. In August, the Sarajevo Film Festival follows, and the pledge is signed by festival director Mirsad Purivatra. Venice was a challenge. When Dissenso Comune and WIFT Italy started speaking about the pledge, artistic director Alberto Barbera came out with this charming declaration, quote, "If we impose quotas or gender equality needs, I will quit." This year, Venice only had one woman-helmed film, Jennifer Kent's The Nightingale, in competition. So what happened? The European Women's Audiovisual Network, EVA, published an open letter calling for the festival to take the pledge. The letter recounts Venice's history of shutting out women and its repeated suggestions that including female filmmakers will dilute the festival's overall quality. So, finally, Venice signed the pledge too. In September, Toronto followed with a statement, and I love this statement so much I have to read what they published. "We believe that parity restores the balance of power. We believe that diversity deeply changes representations. We are committed to pushing for parity and inclusion because we are certain that the equal sharing of power will promote profound creative renewal. From now on, we will be tracking all the festivals that have signed, and we will also make sure that people know which festivals are not interested in being transparent and inclusive. The pledge is only a first step, but it's a crucial one. It will provide all of us with clear and transparent information about, one, the people who make decisions about film selections in festivals, and two, the diversity of films that are submitted. In San Sebastian, the pledge was signed 2 weeks ago, and according to Variety, women helmed 5 of 18 films screening in competition. The last festival that signed the pledge was Poland's Gdynia, I hope I say that right, Gdynia Festival. And Monika Talarczyk from Lodz Film School presented also research in which she stressed that only 13% of Polish Film Institute's budget was allocated to female filmmakers in the past 12 years. Now there's also a light on the horizon because the International Documentary Film Festival Amsterdam has already said that they will sign the pledge. This is in 2 months in November. And now we're back in the here and now, and soon coming to our next guest. As you can see, Anna Cerna, she first said the 50-50 by 2020, was not only throwing a starfish into the ocean, but she has created a ripple effect. I personally hope it can't be stopped anymore. So who is this woman? Anna Cerna was a lawyer and has also been to film school. Before joining the Swedish Film Institute in 2011, she was managing director of the Swedish Media Publishers Association, where she spoke about freedom of speech and the media's role in society. Under her guidance, the Swedish Film Institute has reached the goal of gender equity in only 4 years. But that was only the beginning. Please give a very warm welcome to the woman who said, quote, "It's still a fact that the main box office films, which are usually made with a lot of money, are made by men. That's not because women fail at doing them. It's because they're not allowed to do them. The next target for us is to get women bigger budgets." Varmt välkommen, Mrs. Anna Cerna.